Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. I have some quick questions for the Digital Nomad Quest and Sharon Tseung. How you doing this morning?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. I just want to do a real quick video. I like to ask questions of folks so that people can see what is possible. So we had an interview just the other day where you talked about the whole Digital Nomad Quest and all those exciting things and leaving for a couple of years and various income streams. I guess my first question for you is, you know, I'll call you successful today because you clearly are. But is there any things in your journey that if you had to do it over again that you might want to redo?
Yeah, so I think two things. I wish I vlogged more, actually. So I wish I brought like my vlogging camera that I currently have today during my travels. I have my GoPro camera, but it's not as high quality, but I wished I talked a little bit more on camera. It was when I first did it, it wasn't the direction I was planning to go in. I just thought I was going to be a blogger. I have another YouTube channel that's all music stuff. So I was like, it's like excessive to do another YouTube, but here I am doing another YouTube. And, I wish I had more of that footage. So I think that's what appeals to a lot of people, like seeing the whole journey, right? And I could have been more, I could have documented more and like talked about my feelings more, and that, usually people are very interested in that type of stuff. So wish I did that more. In terms of my business, I wish I like hired sooner.
Mm,
So actually a lot of people say that, but yeah, basically a lot of the time I would think, oh, I don't want to spend that money for that, right? I could do it myself, but ultimately like the time you save and um, actually a lot of the people that I hire, they end up doing it better than I can. So I'm like, oh, like, for example, like video editing, I'm like, oh, like, I just hand it off to you. You're like way better at this. So I wish I did it sooner because you save a lot of time and those people can be even better in those aspects than you, and you can focus on building your business. But ultimately, I'm happy with how things went, and I try to be like, no regrets. Like, let's just keep looking forward and at the present versus the past. So.
that's awesome. And yeah, it's pretty amazing to see how content has become, right, video, audio, blogging, pictures. It's just all of these things. And yeah, I can only imagine what that content would have been like with you in Chiang Mai in a coffee shop, sort of talking to the camera, right?
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of like digital nomads vlog about it, but I think it would have been good for the content I currently have. I'm just all focused on business mainly right now, like how to teach people how to do it. But I think it would be interesting to viewers, like my journey.
Yeah. So the next question I have is because my daughter is actually older than you are.
Hmm.
And I just have to ask, what did your parents think when you told them at 25 you were taking off with a one-way ticket to spend 2 years around the world? What did they say?
Yeah. So I was living at home and I'm very close to my parents, right? But when I told them that, I feel like they just didn't believe me. So they're like, okay, cool, like whatever. And then what, like maybe a few months later, I asked my mom, like, hey, what's the process like for like getting insurance when you're traveling, whatever. Then she started crying. She was like, I didn't think you were gonna do it. So she started crying, and like she realized this, I'm actually doing it. So yeah, so they were like really kind of scared, especially because I'm like a girl. Like it's a little different as a girl solo traveler. I think they like worry more, but um, they spend like 6 months of the year in Hong Kong. So I visited them like for a little bit during my travels, like actually like maybe a few months. So um, there was that, as well as like I bought them a Europe trip. Like my brother and I bought them a Europe trip so they could see me in Europe and stuff. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I just made sure to like keep in touch with them and like see them a lot. So yeah, that's what happened.
I can only imagine, right? It's yeah, sure, sure, sure. And then you ask about the insurance or vaccinations or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's really
Exactly.
happening." Okay, very, very cool. Um, I guess the next question I have for you is I see on social media and all these sponsored posts trying to make people think like side hustles or passive income is easy. Um, I guess I'll just ask it this way: is it as easy as all these people make it seem?
So I feel like I didn't have that experience where I found that like I couldn't find as much resources for this type of stuff like back a few years ago, right? I guess I started in 2015, basically. Like after my 2014 trip, I was like, oh, I gotta study, and gotta learn about the stuff and build out the stuff. And none of my friends were really doing the same thing. And I didn't even know what a digital nomad was till I like randomly came across it on Twitter or something like that. And it wasn't that popular at the time. I think it was there, but it wasn't as known as now. And I guess there are a lot of like people like gurus like saying like, oh, like it's easy, like see me on the beach, like living it up, whatever. But yeah, first of all, I guess like I didn't have that feeling where it's like, oh, it's like super easy or whatever. I didn't have that, like, I guess I didn't see that around me.
Okay.
But also I don't feel like it's super easy or anything. It does require that constant focus and like, persistence. And I had the 2 years to like really focus on it because I wasn't working 9 to 5 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like, yeah, it takes work, it takes time, it takes like studying these strategies.
Yeah. Yeah. So then the final question is while it may seem in a picture or a post that it's this glorious life that you're living in foreign countries and traveling all over, it is still work. It's just work from different locations, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I just felt like I was living in different countries and doing work. And that was my idea of it. I was like, I'm not going to see this as just like a vacation and do whatever. I'm going to like hustle and I'm going to like live in these different places, like explore the local culture, but also like hustle on my stuff.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So as we wrap this up, how can people find the story of Digital Nomad Quest? Because you wrote about all these various income streams and trying to figure them out, and they start really small. Where can people go learn your story?
Yeah, so even though I mentioned like I wish I vlogged more, I did document, my feelings and my whole journey with the passive income stuff on digitalnomadquest.com, which is where you can find me. And you can see from like the first post where I'm like bitching about work and like, and you keep reading and you can see me, like you can see the growth of my passive income streams and everything. I also teach like the exact methods I like took for some of these income streams. But if you want like the exact blueprint, it's like you can go on my course, the Etsy Entrepreneur, and that's located on digitalnomadquest.com. And I'll release more courses like documenting the exact specifics on like everything with my stuff. So you can find me there. You can also find me on YouTube as Sharon Tseung.
Very, very cool. So back to the Digital Nomad Quest blog. Do you know how many, I don't know if we call them posts, I guess there? I mean, it's, you had this for years. So, I mean, it would take somebody, 100 hours to read everything? Because again, it's what you were doing in the moment. It's what this is why people need to go back and read it, is because it is your feelings and stress and goodness at the very beginning. So again, how can people find it? What posts should they go to? Do you have a favorite early posts they should look at?
Yeah, I mean, I have some, if you look up, probably if you like search the word feelings or something like that, or like you could even, I think my blog is categorized where it says like my journey or my thoughts and things like that. And that's where you can see like the feelings part and like the whole journey. If you want stuff about specific income streams, like I have it totally categorized where if you go to the passive income category, like there's all the different streams that I have talked about or have interviewed people on it as well. So you can find it there. In terms of your question about like the amount of posts or whatever, like there are periods where I would stop blogging and stuff like that because I viewed it kind of as like a fun thing. I didn't view it as like building a business or whatever. At the time I was just like, this is how I feel. Like, so like sometimes if I just didn't feel like I didn't or whatever, but now I'm like really building up posts. So yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, Sharon, I appreciate your time. This has been a lot of fun. You're very, very successful. And I look forward to your brand and seeing what the Digital Nomad Quest becomes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks so much.